In today's video, we're going to unbox and review the Maverick Mark II Practice Chanter. Stay tuned. In this box, we have the new Maverick Mark II Practice Chanter. Let's go ahead, open this up, and see what all is included. Here we go. There's some rather strong tape on there, and out comes, there we go, the case. Look at that, man. Even the case is awesome. Heavy duty, very nice. Got a little handle on it and everything. Let's go ahead and unzip. And we have bubble wrap. All right, awesome. Okay, comes with a Maverick cleaning, polishing cloth right here. And here we go. All right, so we have a lovely kind of bluish gray color here. And one of the things with the Maverick Mark II is this unique water trap right here that also acts as a reed protector. So it looks like the reed has already been set up for me in here. Let's go ahead and just take this off real quick. The water trap actually sits on the hemped joint here, and got an MW on the reed there, so that's me. And then the top fits over the water trap and onto a section of the Chanter that has O-rings. There'll be a full photo gallery of all the parts of this at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. That goes on quite nicely. The finish is absolutely lovely. This one here, as currently equipped, has a black plastic mouthpiece and just a lovely little metal ring for a sole. Now the holes are soft touch holes. This is my first time feeling them, and yes, they are soft touch. They kind of remind me a little bit of my old Gallagher Uilleann pipe chanter, which had very scalloped, smooth holes. These feel quite nice under the fingers, though it is a different feeling. It is not the crisp, sharp edge that you might be used to, or the normal chamfered edge. It's very, well, soft. All right, let's give this thing a go. If you're wanting more personalized instruction, I do give online lessons. Go ahead and head over to www.commandyourbagpipe.com or email me at the address you see here, and we'll get you going. I'm working with folks from all over the planet, and I hope to work with you soon. So after a couple minutes of playing here, let's see how we're doing with moisture. Now I'm a fairly dry blower, so I don't expect to see much. I feel a little moisture on the top here. The reed is of course dry. I'm just gonna keep giving this, a go for a bit here and see if I can build up some additional moisture on this. I want to take just a second and thank all the members of my Patreon community. You'll see their names now scrolling up. These are folks that support the channel on a monthly basis. I'd love to add your name to this list. The support of these patrons really is what makes this channel possible, so thank you all so much. one of the features of these new Maverick Mark II Chanters is that all of the metal parts and mouthpiece are removable. So we can unscrew all of these bits. Nicely threaded on there, and not overly threaded. Sometimes I see some of these and it's just crazy. This is a nice, perfect amount of threading to hold on this part. And the sweep down here near the sole has been reduced slightly, and we have a slight reduction up here as well, just to make it a slightly more refined looking instrument, trying to make it look a little bit different than the Mark I's. But why might you want to remove these? Well, as a sneak preview here, Jordy has included some new engraved parts for these instruments. So at any point, you can upgrade your chanter. This particular one here has Celtic engraving, and my goodness, is it very deep. It is, it's pretty incredible. Again, photos at the end of the video, check that out. I'm gonna go ahead and change out the simple ring for this engraved sole. Let's go ahead and do the same thing with this top here. So the plain ferrule here can unscrew and again be upgraded with this engraved Celtic ferrule. I'm not always for engraving, but this stuff here is exceedingly nice looking. Again, a little bit here. Stay tuned for those photos. You're not going to want to miss them. And even a metal mouthpiece here, though the mouthpiece itself is not engraved. I don't know if that's going to be an option or not, but this one is not. But just for giggles, we'll go ahead and switch out this plastic top for the metal one. One of the things I really like about this particular moisture trap here is that it doesn't live inside the top. You don't have to empty it by like pouring it out of the mouthpiece and then getting all of your stale saliva and moisture like coming out the place your mouth's going to be on. You don't have to worry about that. It's all right here. It acts again as a chanter cap if you wanted to store it in your case this way, if your case wasn't long enough, your pipe case, to fit the whole thing put together. And it allows the top to remain wooden. It has been fully sleeved on the inside, but the outside is wooden, so it does match, which is really nice. With a lot of higher end chanters, you'll get a black wood bottom, but a plastic top, and, well, it's kind of nice to have the whole thing, well, match. Does it matter? I guess not, but, you know, it's nice to have cool looking stuff. All right, I've been playing this chanter for several days now. You might notice the beard's a little more grown in at the moment. And I thought about changing the reed out. It came with a red Fraser reed, and it was working fine. But I wanted to see how it would play, perhaps with an Abbott reed, which is what I use in many of my other chanters, primarily in my McClellan Cocobolo chanter, which has been my primary practice chanter for 24 years now. Anyway, I want to give it a go and see how it played. And I have to say, this is the winner for me. This reed in this chanter has really opened this up. I thought it was quite good before, if maybe slightly restrictive. I thought that was the moisture trap. I think it was just that red Fraser reed was a particularly difficult to blow Fraser reed. Tuning well, playing well, but a little resistant. This one's a little bit more free blowing, especially with that dental elastic I have on it. But the tuning is still awesome, and I think there's a clarity of sound with the Abbott that I was just not quite getting with the Fraser. So let's hear a tune or two with this Abbott in here. working and living and playing with this chanter for a few days now, I've opted to sub out the gorgeous but heavy full sole for just the simple plain ring it came with. For one, I do a lot of teaching online where I have to hold up the chanter, as I often do in my videos here, and putting an extra, I'm not sure how much this weighs. I'll weigh it, it'll be on screen here. That much weight at the end really does cause this to weigh a lot more, so I'm preferring just the ring to the sole. Sole looks awesome. If you play with your chanter down, the sole can actually kind of almost be a pro in that it like wants to rest on your leg, but if you're having to hold your chanter up or you find yourself playing in a standing position, the sole might be a bit heavy. Another thing you might need to do is keep the O-rings lubricated here. I actually put a little bit of Neosporin on the O-rings. You know, that was my idea. Jordy didn't tell me to do that. But it did occasionally just bind up a little bit. I was always able to get it out. But once I lubricated the O-rings up, that was not a problem anymore. So if you get one of these and the water trap's not wanting to come out, you can still push it with like a skewer through and it'll come out. But just a little lubricant on the O-rings, and I haven't really had an issue with it not, the top's coming off just fine. The chanter is great, and I have been told I do indeed get to keep this instrument, so you will be seeing this in many future videos on technique, tunes, and other things because, well, it's just a wonderful instrument, and I am happy to present it to you guys and make it part of my practice chanter stable of instruments. And that, I think, is what I'll leave with. This is an actual musical instrument, in my opinion. It's not just a stick with holes in it that allows you to play. One of the things I did not go into earlier was that the holes themselves, several of them have been drilled at an angle to the overall bore of the instrument. On most practice chanters, the holes are completely perpendicular, but for tuning reasons, several of these holes have the actual tone hole drilled at an angle so that we can get the tuning we need with the finger spacing that we want. The finger spacing being based on the average of 3 best-selling pipe chanters on the market. I don't know what those are, that's just what I was told, but the finger spacing does feel very comfortable, very natural, and yet several of the holes are drilled at an angle to allow the tuning of those notes. I believe they're D, high G, and high A in particular, to allow the tuning of those notes to be true. So there you go, everybody. The Mark II practice chanter. Again, you'll be seeing this in future videos of mine. I think it's a tremendous instrument. Jordy, fantastic job here. I hope you have much success with these instruments here, and I look forward to running into some of these in the wild as I go around to workshops and other things working with pipers around the world. Thank you all again so much for watching, and until next time, I'm Matt Willis. Cheers.